Good afternoon? No, good morning, everyone. My name is Alissa Lange, and I'm the director of the Northeast Tennessee STEM Innovation Hub, and I also oversee the Center of Excellence in STEM Education. We oversee the hub as well as being engaged in a number of other initiatives, and I've been in this job officially about a year, so I still like to say I'm new. But I've been very excited to partner with lots of educators across our region over the last year and a half on a number of different projects. So, and this is not what it looked like before, so pretend that it's perfectly formatted. This is my plan to share an introduction, very briefly, an overview of some of our key activities, the professional learning workshops that we have collaborated with educators to lead. We'll talk about our regional meetings and some other activities as well. So we have actually quite a big team, including all the educator partners, some of whom are in this room. But as I said, that's me, Alissa Lange, and Dr. Chiche Tai is the Assistant Director of the Center of Excellence in STEM Education. He does a lot of grants in computational thinking in Northeast Tennessee. Chris Bowen is here with me today. I'm grateful for his help checking in on the chat. And Chris has done a number of programs with us too over the years. So I'll have him share a little bit about what he's done as well. And many, many others over the years as well. So I'm excited to just talk a little bit about some of the things, some of the shifts that I've seen. And I'm hoping to hear from you as well if there are other things that you're interested in, programs you'd like to see, other things, other directions we can head as well. But I've been really excited to see more attendance, people coming to our meetings, more workshops held in different places too. So we're engaging districts, other counties and other districts. This past year, we had some workshop topics that we held. There was a request last year at this event to hold a workshop on the STEM designation. So we offered that at our last year's fall regional meeting. So be thinking, if there's anything you want to see, you or your teachers want or need in terms of professional learning around any topic in STEM, let me know, because we want the work and the resources that we provide to be useful to you, to be filling a need that you really have. So please do let us know about your needs. There's Kim. So this is one of the workshops that we were able to fund with TSIN funds as the hub, led by Kim Bradley here from Washington Elementary in Kingsport. So we've paralleled. One of the things that I shifted since I took over is to have our regional meetings. We have 2 a year, held in parallel with a workshop, at least one workshop. So we've seen some great attendance when we've done that. So I'm going to continue to do that as long as that works for everyone. Streamworks is if you don't know of Streamworks, they do a lot of informal STEM, robotics, underwater robotics, drone league, all sorts of, it has been traditionally informal STEM education after school, but they have begun to do more partnerships during the school day as well. This is another workshop that we were able to help support, and Dennis and his team held an in-person hands-on workshop at our last regional meeting, which was held at the Hands-On Discovery Center Gray Fossil Site. A great spot. That says expanding our reach. So new facilitators, I was excited to have Brittany Roten. She's planning to lead a PBL workshop in Hawkins County. So if any of you are from other counties that haven't had a chance to lead workshops, let me know. I'd love to have them in your county, so it's easier for teachers to get to them as well. So that's exciting. Equity and diversity inclusion is a big passion of mine, increasing participation from underrepresented groups in STEM. So I was excited to have Chris and his team lead a book study. That was their idea, to move outside the workshop scenario. I think I'll have him share a little bit about how that went. We were able to fund some regional STEM initiatives, so we gave a bunch of materials to the Kingsport STEM Field Day. We were able to fund a RDL Junior League coach, Robot Drone League coach. the mashup, the meeting mashup I mentioned. I'm starting to participate in the Tennessee STEM, this is a long acronym, Tennessee STEM Education Leadership Council. We're restarting that organization to think about statewide partnerships to support STEM education. So we'll be meeting actually later this afternoon. And then more community connections. I'm really interested and invigorated by the ways we could be partnering more with regional industries, companies, community organizations. So we donated some materials to Girls Inc. new STEM lab that they're starting as an example, but we're also having a lot of conversations with industry partners to ask, what do you want? What do you need in your STEM hires? So those are some of the overarching projects that we've been involved in this past year. So in case you're not aware, TSIN gives us what we submitted application, and we get funding for workshops and to hold 2 regional meetings each year. That's the main sort of energy. That's where the funds mainly go, those 2 things. But then we have a little leeway if there's other things that are priority. So for professional learning workshops, this year we had extra funding for the computer science piece, so we've been able to offer a number of extra workshops and programs than usual with that extra money, so hence some of the coding workshops that we've had. There's going to be a focus on CNC machines, a small program coming up in, I think it's early June, to support teachers who want to think about using kind of some innovative technologies in their classrooms. And lots of educators have been able to be reached through these programs. So as an example, I'll just have Chris share a little bit about how the book study went, since this was a little bit of a different model for professional learning.
So we led a book study with Brian Brown's book, Science in the City, and we were focused on looking at the way science language is used in the classroom. And one of the things that it talked about, first of all, it was a safe space. We had different races and ethnicities and genders and everybody represented in this book study, which isn't always the case in East Tennessee. So it was really, really a great experience for us to be in a safe space to think out some things. And one of the things that I think that we take for granted is we expect students to come into our classrooms and we teach them the science or the language of science and expect them to know it. Where if they're using their own language to explain phenomena, we tend to discredit it and say, oh, we need to teach you the words photosynthesis and cellular respiration and anaerobic respiration and all of that when they're trying to explain using their own terms. So we went through a book study, we talked, we figured some things out, and I even had a high school teacher from Science Hill who emailed me after every session and said, this is the most beneficial book study I've ever been in. I'm applying things daily, and I'm seeing it change the way my students interact and feel and try to bring about a positive self-identity in science. So that, to me, was rewarding in and of itself. We also started creating a Google Doc of different resources that teachers can use to help represent different marginalized groups. So gender, race, LGBTQ, people of different abilities. And that's in a process that we're trying to create and then share with everybody. But if you have any ideas, send them our way. We'll share the document with you, because when students can see themselves represented in their education and their science education, we're building those positive self-identities, and we're having students feel like they can be successful in that. So it's been great.
Awesome. And the kinds of things you're saying to me sound like they could apply to domains outside of science too. It makes me think, how are we talking to kids about engineering as well, right? Or STEM, integrated STEM learning experiences. So that was really exciting to see this kind of different approach to supporting educators through this book study at our hub. So we are thinking we're going to try it again next year. I think Chris and his team are going to choose a different book, but we're going to kick it off at our fall regional meeting on November 9th. So there'll be an in-person opportunity to connect with Chris and the team to get things started, and then there'll be a series of virtual meetings in the following year. So I'm excited to see where that goes. So if anybody knows of anyone who might be interested in that opportunity, we will share the information about how to register for our regional meeting. I don't have the agenda totally planned out yet, but that's one of the things we're planning to do. So November 9th, in Greenville is our plan. So here are some examples of the programs that the Hub was able to offer this past year. I mentioned the book study. We're also having a cybersecurity workshop led by ETSU faculty who work in this area, so that should be really interesting. Also coming up in June. The STEM designation I mentioned, that was hearing from you all last year, so if there's anything else, like I said, let us know. A colleague of mine and I in elementary have been doing an early childhood elementary STEM collaboration project to really do community-connected pre-service teacher STEM work. So if any of that is interesting to anyone, to really think about how to partner with the pre-service side, community, and educators. So we have had about 5 years of connection with educators, some of whom have graduated from our program, but sometimes it's teachers who just want to partner with us. So we do partnerships with teachers, doing micro-teaching with our pre-service teachers. And we had our students think about hands-on museum exhibits and how to tie them to science standards to extend learning for future teachers who come to the museum. So that was a really fun project. And my own passion is early STEM, so EC STEM Lab has been able to offer a number of professional learning workshops for preschool teachers around how to infuse on and off device coding and all sorts of fun STEMmy things. So that's my own work has continued to be able to be offered to regional teachers as well. So those were kind of professional learning. Before I go to the meeting, are there any topics that come to anyone's mind right now that you can see as a need for you or your teachers in terms of a professional learning experience? And we heard from Chris, it doesn't have to be a workshop. It doesn't have to be a one-off workshop. Anything that comes to mind, like I really wish we had a workshop on this or an event? Nothing jumps out at you at the moment. Okay, well, feel free to, yeah. Cool, I get some steps. I love it.
I would like to see something that encourages our school-level administrators to understand the importance of what you're talking about here so that they see that, you know, we're not just placeholders for kids while the math teacher gets planning periods.
Do you have any ideas around that?
No.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. And actually, Dr. Chiche Tai, the assistant director, just got a $5 million grant to do a lot of that, actually. His work is called SLICE or iSlice. He's had like 5 different grants in the SLICE family. This one is iSlice SL, School Leaders. So he's partnering with regional schools for that purpose, but that doesn't mean we couldn't also do something as the hub. So maybe I'll talk with Chiche and see if there's something that the hub could do kind of separately or parallel, maybe at the November 9th meeting. So that's great. Are you also note-taking for me, Chris? Okay, thank you. Great. Any other thoughts? That's really helpful. I want to throw out one other idea I just heard this morning, see what you all think. There are a couple STEM designated schools. I think we have some representatives here from one of them. Washington Elementary is a STEM designated. But I was really I saw an opportunity for Northeast Tennessee to maybe do more of that if there are other schools who are interested. And I know TSIN offers support to go through that process, but I think it was Hamblin County had like 10 schools that just got designated, and apparently they have a network of supports, educators supporting other educators who want to go through the process. So not just TSIN, but actually current designated schools. So I wondered if that might be of interest, if the hub could help facilitate, and maybe we could feed you or something, and I'm looking at you who do a lot of this work, could come and just kind of be, listen and offer advice, and you, Kim Bradley, and offer advice. Did you? Congratulations. Sulphur Springs, yes, I saw that. That was awesome. So maybe, some of those schools who've gone through it and kind of know what's happening, what's coming up, just kind of, so it's a network, it's an educator network that Hamilton County has been doing. So if that sounds interesting, I mean, you could do it yourself, but there's some way our hub could help facilitate that. That sounded awesome to me. Informal, maybe, just answering your questions wherever you're at, if you're interested in the process or if you're halfway through. Throwing that out there as an idea. Excuse me. I noted it down, and I'll talk to our team too, but if that sounds interesting and there's a way we can support that, I would be happy to do that. Okay, so, and feel free to ask questions anytime, by the way. Let's see. Topic. So our regional meetings, like I said, I've been kind of having regional meetings in parallel with workshops. But I'm always open to new fun ideas with those too. One of the things that I'm really interested in is trying to have them in all different places too, just like the workshops. So we had it at Hands On. We're having it in Greenville. Streamworks wants to host our next spring one, so that'll be at Valley Brook. But I mean, is there someone in Cott County who wants to host it, or Hawkins County? I'd really love to get our supports and get our teachers and educators who are presenting to sort of be present and closer to people across our whole service region. So that's a goal of mine. So there's some of the topics that we have that have been covered in our meetings are shown up here. I'll just tell you, and here's an image. Let me just go back a second. STEM education workforce partnerships is one of those areas, as I mentioned before, that I feel like our center could potentially do something in that space to facilitate some partnerships for you all with industry and workforce. I'm not just quite sure what that is yet, though. But from what I hear, it's a need, it's an interest, but not just there isn't a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time to be making those. In some schools, I've heard some great presentations of lots of schools that are doing that, and that's awesome. If there's something at a regional level that we can do as a center, I think it could be kind of neat. I think it could bring like this learning to life if you have a great guest speaker, or you get a donation from this company to support this need that you have in your school. So that's something that I'm having a meeting actually on the 31st with a bunch of companies to sort of ask them what they want and need, but I'm hoping to roll something out in the coming year. Again, ideas welcome of the kinds of things that you need or would like to have in such a program. So this is Lottie Ryans from the 1st Tennessee Development District, who does a lot of amazing programs already to connect. If you don't know about her Career Quest program, it's held on the ETSU campus. Hundreds of I think it's 7th, 8th, and I think they have high school too. Students come and interact with industry professionals, companies. The Quillen School of Medicine is there. It's really hands-on, engaging. They're like doing virtual welding, all sorts of cool career paths. So I'm hoping to kind of, lean on her expertise as well. But they're already doing some great things there through their program too. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not even worried about it. I don't even see mistakes or opportunities for growth. It really didn't look like this before. That's okay. So I am so excited about our spring meeting. We had 120 people come to Hands On Gray Fossil Site from all these districts who had never been involved, as far as I know, with our programming, all these counties and school systems, IHEs, community organizations, private schools, and I think we can do even more of this. We are, I really see this. I think we're here to serve. I think we're here to serve you all. That's our goal, and we can do that by increasing our reach and reaching out to you and finding out what you need. So that made me so happy to really bring all these people together and help them make new connections. Northeast State was there. ETSU, I know this. Might have been Walter State. And then I had a woman for the workforce piece. Yes, Milligan. Yep, Milligan. Yep. He's a math professor. He's not here. A math professor from Milligan came too as well. Yep. Yeah, and the more, I think the better, right? If we're not competing but collaborating, it's better for the students, and that's why we're here. So I think bringing people together, we find these connections we didn't even know that were possible. So I'd love to see all those increase. The other piece I'm really excited about, Chris.
Couple of topics potentially for the hub to support our teachers in our area. How to better bring together all departments of a K-8 school toward a collective STEM goal or science goal. For example, how to design a school-wide expo like what Memphis School of Excellence presented earlier. And also how to incorporate related arts as well. I'll add that to my list, but I wanted to share it because it might spark other ideas with the people that are here present. Thank you.
That's great, thank you. And it makes me think the connecting across K through 8 sounds like something those who are STEM designated could help with, because you have to do that as part of your process, right? Those of you have to be talking, it has to be a school-wide culture, is that right? So that might be something that the... Wait, hold your brilliant thought.
My suggestion was going to be building a PD around just building a STEM culture in your school, because a lot of the times it's hard to get everyone on board because it seems like that extra work, and just being able to intertwine, saying you're already doing it, and just kind of establishing that culture with your staff first. And once your staff is really on board, then it helps your students really build that culture up. So something along that line.
A STEM school culture.
Yeah, like a culture aspect of it.
What do you think, those of you who well, any of you really?
We're doing a workshop this summer, May 31st, DBXL, and part of it we're going to spend talking about building the culture. So if you would like to come to it.
We happen to have both of our PBL workshops are the same day, one in Hopkins County and one at DBXL. So those are free for anyone who wants to go. Yours is a broader grade range. I think you're K through 12.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that might be an opportunity. Thank you. Great. Thank you. STEM culture, related arts. Awesome. This is just another image from our hands-on Discovery Center hosts / Gray Fossil Site hosts for our last regional meeting. And just to share some of the feedback from that event, we did fold in pre-service teachers into the event, so they had been stationed around while people were eating food. They could walk around and talk to pre-service teachers, and that ended up being really neat. They were really excited to talk with these caring adults who are already in the profession, who, you know, I told them to go harass them and ask them hard questions, but apparently they were really nice. And you know, here's another example of that, why I feel like coming here, I want to hear from you how important that is, because adjusting the time of this meeting was in response to feedback. We were getting a lot of amazing STEM instructional coaches, but teachers were having a hard time coming during the day. So this one was 4 to 7, and we fed them amazing Main Street food, and that was something that one of the educators appreciated. So anything else, any other ways that we can make this work for you and your teachers, we want to know. Oh yeah, this was very cool. So high school, university high students started their own STEM club. These high school students, is that you?
No, it wasn't me, but I was there listening to them. This was absolutely incredible. Just
Share for posterity.
and so impressive. It was a great thing. I just said it was a great thing to hear them talk about what they did and how enthusiastic they were about STEM and bringing it to little kids, and that was exciting. Yeah.
So these students just wanted to start this, so it was student-led, it was a student idea, and they go into K through 5 and lead hands-on interactive STEM learning experiences for the elementary kids in this school. So we are at a K-12 school, so it's a unique, you know, physical setting, but I think something like that could be interesting to do elsewhere too. And apparently at this event, they got asked to present at Tennessee TSTA as a part of this. So I actually thought, someone wrote in the comments, we should do more of this and I'm thinking of your people, they said maybe a competition, I don't know, you know, I go back and forth about the value of making people compete against each other. Do we just have them have like a high school student STEM track? And so whatever they're doing, very broadly conceived, they get a chance to be in front of a professional audience and share what they're doing. I mean, I think that could be, you know, traditional K through 12. It could be a CTE. The more I learn about that, the more I learn about the amazing STEM going on in the CTE world. So many cool resources I think we could leverage as well. from that. So, I mean, does that sound interesting to you? Maybe okay. In the November 9th meeting, as I said, I'm still putting the agenda together. So if that sounds good to you all, I might have a track then just for high school students to give them that opportunity to share what they're doing. Cool. So some other activities that we have been engaged with over the last year. I mentioned I feel like the universe is telling me that we need to think about how to connect more industry workforce, make more connections or facilitate more connections for educators in our region. So we started a STEM workforce survey, and we're trying to get more responses at the moment. But the survey is about what do you need in new STEM hires, and are those attributes different than regular hires? So the preliminary evidence suggests they are a bit different, actually. So that's been interesting, and that's ongoing. We're overseen by 3 colleges at ETSU, so I've been trying to facilitate more partnerships with those. So we have a hub faculty affiliate from College of Business and Technology and Arts and Science. Science is doing their own projects too, as well as some camps. So here are a few of the other activities that we've been doing in this past year. That piece of the STEM field day I mentioned, that just happened, I think, last week. They had a great showing again. I think there could be an opportunity to have a pot of money that's for random requests, So you're going to have a family STEM day at your school, and you need $300, and maybe there's like a simple application process where you can apply to get some of the hub funds to support that STEM activity. I think that might be kind of nice. So that's one of the other ideas I have going forward as well. I mentioned we have some materials, so I was able to help fund the Girls Inc., support the Girls Inc. new STEM lab in Johnson City. But I'd be interested in others. What are the other ways that the hub can support the work you do and community resources as well? So camps, I mentioned that's another activity that we've been able to fund this past year. I think these are coming up. So Musical Code of Liberation is learning how to code music using Python. So they're learning Python and also composing their own songs. And that's in partnership with Langston Center in Johnson City. So those camps, because Langston camps are offered for free, I guess all of our workshops are generally free. But that one's already full. It's both sessions. She's doing it for 2 weeks, and they're both already full, which is great. But I think this is exciting. Are there other partnerships like this? Like there's a community center where you are, and you think there could be a great workshop or event in partnership with someone that's right around the corner from you. That's maybe something we can help support as well. Whitecap Coding Club in Kingsport for kids was another example. Okay, so next step, some of the things that I'm thinking about in addition to those I mentioned. We had an application process if the people who came to our meeting would like to be the facilitators of another workshop. They had the opportunity to submit that to us so that for this coming year, we may be able to expand who facilitates the workshops for our hub. So that you are welcome to write to me and email me if you have something you think would be great. So we heard a couple ideas here. If you want to be the person that that facilitates that, let me know. I want to have a broader pool, like I said, of people who facilitate those. We're thinking about that CTE piece and how we can be partnering more with career and technical education, workforce I mentioned. And we also have a lending library. So if you didn't know about that, we really do serve pre-K through 12 and beyond, but we have this lending library it's small, it's a baby at the moment, but it does have robots that you can use in your classroom or your teachers can use in their classrooms for free for either a short-term loan, like a month or so, or the whole year. And so these teachers have been using them this year, so I'm so excited, and I would love to continue to expand that. So maybe through some industry partnerships, get some more donations for additional resources in that library. So that more teachers can use them. We're also talking about partnerships to try to get the robots to more faraway districts, so they don't have to drive 2 hours just to get them and bring them back. So we're working on that piece. But the robots are available, and resources are available for free through our lending library. So here is a link to our website and some contact information, but I wanted to just have a little time to give you a chance to talk to us more about the kinds of things that you need or want, in addition to the ideas you already gave us. Any other thoughts or ideas? While you're thinking of your amazing ideas, Kim, would you mind just talking a little bit about, on the fly, the couple programs that you have done for us? Okay. This might spark ideas too.
Well, the first was knowing that Reach Them All training was happening for many of us, was to do a presentation at one of the regional meetings on computational thinking and bring a lot of the tools that we use currently in Kingsport City and connecting that computational thinking and those algorithm pattern recognition. Already, I guess we were kind of ahead of the training that came from the state. So that was highly attended just because we just started the discussion. And then the second one was the White Hat Coding Club, and that was just after school for 3rd through 5th graders. And I did cap it at 20 kids. And the hub was able to provide money for snacks, and we got matching T-shirts, which is always a popular thing, right, for these kiddos. And then we also did the showcase after school for their parents and guardians to come and see everything that they were working on. It was only 6 weeks, but I did it for 2 hours, so shorter amount of week, but longer amount of time, because by the time you get all the technology and everything out, I didn't want, there to have to put it back up. So the majority of my kids in that population were my 3rd graders. And I know it's hard in the spring to find an after school day, but I had this little group of 3rd graders, which was an aha for me, these girls love this, and they love doing it together, so really need to keep on. And then another caveat from it was a lot of the parents said, what is happening this summer that we can take our kids to camps? So whatever else is happening, like, we want them to keep learning. So yeah, I appreciate the funding to do all that, or it wouldn't have happened.
Yep. That's great. And it made me think that something else I've heard from families is a place where we can go to see what all the opportunities are. So I know a university school teacher has put together a page outlining regional STEM opportunities. So I'll share that on our website. I don't have it with me here, but that was one thing I'd heard. I think there's a demand. Would you say that's true? Like, families want their kids, where possible, to be engaging in these opportunities. So, if there's something along those lines that if you have time and want to do something in the summer, that's the kind of thing that we could partner on for sure and help make that happen, as another example. Anybody else have thoughts about the kinds of things that we might do or needs you have in any of these areas? What about other cool things you're doing, since this is the Northeast Tennessee meeting? Anyone?
We recently just created a BioBuilder Club. So it focuses on synthetic biology, and our students actually designed a plasmid that they transform bacteria with to turn purple in the presence of nitrates. And they're testing that right now. And they actually, BioBuilder or some organizations through BioBuilder funded a trip to Boston for them to present at MIT. So that was really cool.
And those are actually free, those clubs. Can you tell them a little more about the clubs? Because they have a grant now, ETSU does, to fund those clubs.
So I'm not sure, are we included in that grant? I know I reached out to BioBuilder to see if we were included in it, and she was like, well, if that's what's stopping you, and she paid for our fees that year or waived them. I think typically it's $400, but there's one through Nicewanger right now. Yes, and that will pay for the BioBuilder Club, and it will pay for, there's an accelerator program that they do where it helps you generate those ideas that you can work through for the rest of the year in BioBuilder Club. And they're linked, what's cool about it is they're linked to a professional that gives them advice every step of the way. So they're talking with PhD students in Boston College, Natalie, who's a professor at MIT, and they're giving them feedback on their projects and ideas. Yeah.
Can I share something? Yes, I can. I have a mic. We in Johnson City Schools have been doing a tech teacher leader program I think that we're going into our 9th year, I think. 8th or 9th. But what we've done is we've got teachers involved in the grassroots of actually going into their schools and building a support network for using technology in a way that supports math, science, literacy, social studies instruction, and also the related arts. And we're now looking at bridging that with the computer science standards that have been adopted and need to be included in an authentic way, not just as a related arts class. So I just wanted to give kudos to that because the Tech Leader program has been really great. It's been a great model for the state. And you're welcome to come see one of our meetings, right, Dr. Timms?
Is that something that other schools could parallel, could do it, replicate?
Yeah, we've presented many times.
Okay. Okay. Chris Bowen, the person to ask.
David Timms.
David Timms is the person to ask. One other, I just wanted to point out if the synthetic BioBuilder programs are of interest to you, that grant I mentioned, ETSU is involved. It's not mine, but Pam Mims, I can connect you to her. She's looking for schools to run these BioBuilder clubs, and the grant does make it free. So they send you the materials and they pay your registration fee. So you can, at no cost, run one of these clubs at your school in synthetic biology. So you reach out to me and I can connect you with Pam if you know of any educators who might be interested in starting something like that. Yeah, and it's that's focused on our region of Tennessee, that grant, so. Great. Let's see, was there something else? I was gonna mention that at that QR code, that takes you to our homepage. And on our homepage, right at the top is a button to register for our fall regional hub meeting, the one that we're very likely having at Walter State Nicewanger campus in Greenville, Tennessee. I just have to confirm a few details. So that's, again, it's free, these meetings. We will feed you. The plan is to have it again like a 4 to 7 p.m. And so we offer a certificate afterwards. We will have tracks for teachers specifically. There will be hands-on workshops for teachers. The focus is going to be, my vision is sort of innovation broadly defined. So I kind of just have a brain dump of ideas of what I think we could talk about. And I have a number of people who are ready to talk about some of those topics and share on those topics. If you have something that you would like to share at our regional meeting, again, please write to me or come and tell me. That's what I think this is for you all to share with each other, for us to share if we have resources for you, and for all of you to share if you know of a resource that's going to support Northeast Tennessee educators and kids. So that's what it's for. If you have anything that's in line with any of those topics you think would make a good session, let me know. Our format, it has been, I've liked it because I have a short attention span, really short 10-minute presentations, including questions. So you get, in an hour, you get this nice overview of a number of different topics and things going on. If you're interested, you can contact that person afterwards. But that's kind of the format of a lot of the sessions on various topics. And then we have one track at least that's a hands-on workshop for 2 or 3 hours. And that's a more dedicated session around a particular topic. And DEI will be one of them, as I mentioned before. So again, if you have anything to share, please do let me know. Chris, any other questions or comments? All right. Well, I appreciate you all. What? Oh, thank you. That's right. It's not real. Thank you so much for everything, and let me know if there's anything else that I can help you with. Thank you for coming.